Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now some face of boxing news. And y'all know how I am about that title, face of boxing, right? I don't like it, never have. Face of boxing because what it happens, what it makes people get the big head and don't have to fight people. And you get props for things that are outside of what you do in the ring, right? If you messed around and put some butts in the seats, if you messed around and got some good pay-per-view numbers or something, then all of a sudden you got this title, face of boxing. And it definitely don't mean you're the best boxer, which means why do we have it? I would call it most popular or a very popular fighter and leave it at that. But seeing as though we have face of boxing, right? Now you got people because the face of boxing now is Gervonta Davis, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't like that, right? Here is an example. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin fight supposedly didn't do well in the pay-per-view, right? Which we don't really care about here, right? We don't pay-per-view. Who cares about that? It's a fight, and then we see who's the best. At the end of the day, we're trying to see who's going to be the best in any of these 17 divisions, and somebody going for undisputed. We look at boxing like any other sport. We ain't getting into all that other stuff that other people up into. But whatever. They didn't do well on pay-per-views is what we're talking about, right? Anywhere from 150 to 350,000. Let whoever's telling it, the stories vary between 150,000 and 350,000, right? So that's not good. Remember, nowadays, it ain't too many good pay-per-views because people are pirating, but whatever. That's another thing. So that's what's supposed to be going down with the pay-per-views from Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Now, Gervonta Davis, seeing as though he has this moniker now or title, face of boxing, that's not supposed to be good, right? But his predecessor, Canelo Alvarez, either they don't release his numbers, right? So they can call him face of boxing, or in there in the same realm. Don't believe that Canelo versus Yildirim or Canelo versus Rocky Fielding or Canelo versus anybody, maybe Munguia, were more than that. When Canelo was at the zone, he had that 10 fight, 350 million deal that he had. He fought about 2 or 3 times against easy opposition. And when they said, hey, we can't pay you for this easy opposition anymore, we're trying to make sure you fight harder guys like Demetrius Andrade, who was also at the zone for undisputed. Canelo didn't want to do that, and he got out of that contract because it's like they wanted him to earn the money. So those are the things he did, and they wouldn't release his numbers. That's the best thing. Just don't release the numbers, right? And then you could call him face of boxing. So now, Gervonta Davis, who's supposed to be the face of boxing, who I also call the Black Canelo, because of the simple fact that it's people in his division that was undisputed or legendary like Lomachenko and all that stuff that he didn't fight the whole time, but was still because he was popular, called the face of boxing. So now an American article is calling him the fake face of boxing, right? So my only point with that is if Gervonta is the fake face of boxing, let's keep that title because so was Canelo, right? The fake face of boxing because his numbers weren't doing that great either. Because if they were, you would have released them, right? So what we can do is get rid of face of boxing. What about that? That no one is. Or if this brother's the face of boxing, then 350,000 is a good number right now, right? Because the only fights that did better than 350,000 of late was the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia and the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. One of them did 500,000 and the other one did 1 point something. I don't know if it's 1.2 million or 1.5 million with Ryan Garcia. So I guess all of his social media antics helps the Ryan Garcia thing, right? When he's in a fight. So other than that, these guys, aren't doing that well. These millions of pay-per-views, that's going to be extinct. Technology has done that in. And the simple fact of people aren't getting the fights they want to see. We better hope for the Messiah that Turkey Al-Sheikh keeps doing what he's doing. Because if we're not getting the fights that we want to see, and most of them I wouldn't pay for them, period. You know what I'm saying? Just, in terms of the fights that they're giving us. I ain't paying for Canelo versus Yildirim. Canelo versus Muguel, or Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, or something. Those ain't what I want to see. Canelo versus Andre would have paid quick. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know, Canelo versus Benavidez, paid. But we don't. Canelo versus Morrell, paid. Canelo versus Bivol, rematch, paid. But we're not going to see that. What we're going to see now is probably Berlanga. They get Morrell out the way, and then Berlanga's going to fight him, right? Because that's, he's easy enough for Canelo to fight. So that, those kind of things, that's the face of boxing. Gervonta Davis, he fights Shakur Stevenson, paid. Devin Haney, paid. If he'd have fought Tio back when he should have fought him, paid. Lomachenko, maybe. Right now, Lomachenko's a little bit older. He should have fought him about 3 or 4 years ago when he was supposed to. But it's a possibility. But, all that stuff that he's fighting, those other people ain't nobody trying to see, that ain't happening. You see what I'm saying? So, we got to see the fights that we want to see. And then people will pay. So it's very simple. So these face of boxings, let's just get rid of it. And then we ain't got to worry about who's the face of boxing because it's a stupid title anyway. Right? Or, damn it, Gervonta Davis is the face of boxing right now. Well, let's take our pick. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm about to here, y'all.